Hey guys, Lester, and welcome to the very first movie review here on the channel. And today, guys, we are going to be reviewing the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie that just aired yesterday, not even 24 hours from now. It aired. I went to go see it yesterday, as I said in my previous videos. And earlier today, I essentially said in my video that I had a very enjoyable experience at the theater watching this movie. If you guys didn't know, I am a huge Dragon Ball fan. It's probably on my top 5 of all greatest shows of all time, in my opinion. I've always liked Dragon Ball. I never watched the original, but Dragon Ball Z I watched as I was growing up, as it premiered on Cartoon Network or whatever in Dragon Ball Z Kai's format. Then later on I would watch all the original Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, and now Dragon Ball Super, of course. So this movie was, of course, something I planned watching since it was announced 8 months beforehand or whatever. I forget when exactly it was announced, but towards the end of Dragon Ball Super's first season, it was announced, and I was just all for it 100%. I know some people didn't exactly care for the fact that Broly was going to be made into a 4th movie, because if you guys didn't know, Broly had 3 films before made in Dragon Ball Z, but of course none of those were canon. And for those who do not know what canon means, essentially not part of the actual continuity of the story. It's not considered part of the story. It's as if if something were to happen, you're like, oh, that happened, but somebody else was like, no, it's not canon, so it doesn't count. It's like if your favorite character died in a movie, but the actual show he didn't die, then of course he didn't actually die. Of course, it was just in the movie that he died, but just for the movie's sake. So that, with all that explanation out of the way, I'm going to be talking about the movie in depth, spoiler 100%. So it'll probably be in the title or somewhere, essentially saying that this is a very spoiler weighted review. I'm going to be going over the animation, the certain characters, the plot of the movie. So if you guys haven't seen the movie yet, I recommend going to see it first before watching it or watching this review. And I'm really just doing this review just so I can really talk about the movie, because none of my friends currently have really seen the whole entire movie or have gotten a chance to go see the movie yet. So I'm doing this video really just to vent about the movie. And vent in a positive manner, not negative. I'm going to say rarely anything negative about this movie, because I was all for it 100%. But yeah, let's get right into it. And also, if you guys are wondering why this is being overlaid, I'm overlaying Call of Duty gameplay in the background, that's because I was thinking about doing slideshow images of certain scenes in the movie and whatnot, but I thought about it and then I was like, maybe I shouldn't exactly do that, because I don't want to get any sort of copyright issue or whatever. So we're showing Call of Duty in the background, so if you guys are fans of Call of Duty, I got you. But in any case, if you just want to listen to this of me just talking, just ignore the gameplay. I don't know, maybe go do something else with this playing in your headphones or whatever. I don't know. This is sort of like a podcast. I don't know. I've never done anything like this before, so bear with me. I have done discussions in the past on Minecraft, of course, but this is the first time I'm really approaching Dragon Ball. And let me know in the comments if you guys would like to see something more stuff like this in the future about maybe certain movies or episodes of shows that I watch. We'll see. And also, don't forget to click that like button. If this video can get to even 5 likes, I'd appreciate it. And it would just show a bit of a gauge if you guys actually did enjoy listening to this. Now, of course, if you, again, spoiler heavy, I'm trying to say as many times as possible so nobody's like, you spoiled it for me. This is basically going to be talking about most of the movie. So if you don't plan on watching the movie, I guess this is good for you. But there's no images to go along with it, so I apologize for that. But alright, let's get right into it. So the first 20, 30-ish minutes of the movie are all flashbacks. It's essentially telling the story of Goku, Vegeta, and Broly as they were kids, as all the circumstances and events took place back on planet Vegeta before all of the current things even happened. So if you guys don't know, originally in this Dragon Ball Z story and Dragon Ball Z Kai story, flushed out a little bit more, what happened was the Saiyans were working with Frieza and his army, or more or less you could also argue they were sort of enslaved, but not really. They had some sort of partnership going on, but in this movie it's explained that actually King Cold is the one who is Frieza's father, who set up the partnership with the Saiyans, and they sort of had a mutual understanding of one another, but King Cold retires, passes the reins to his son Frieza, and he even states saying, Saiyans, you better be ready for this, because my son's a little bit more impatient than I am, and he doesn't tolerate anything. So to start that off, They sort of, to show their appreciation for the Saiyans for like bearing with them on this rapid change of events, they give them new scouters, which are the devices that they wear that show the power levels and whatnot. And one of the coolest scenes that I liked from the very beginning was whenever Frieza puts on the scouter to demonstrate how it works for them, and he goes, "Oh, look at that. You have a few snipers in towers surrounding us that have all their shots trained on us. It would be a shame if something were to happen to..." Like, essentially stating that they didn't trust one another to begin with. But Frieza, so calmly, is sort of like, yeah, thanks to this new device I'm going to be giving you guys, you know, as a gift, I kind of know where all these guys are that are going to take a shot on me. So I'm just going to quickly blast all of them and show you guys I mean business. So he does that, and at that point King Vegeta sort of just submits, and that's that. So to sort of skim over the rest of it, they explain the origins of both Goku, Vegeta, and Broly, how it all happened. Broly gets abandoned on a remote planet. Vegeta being his elite class warrior status, gets to go off on missions, and Goku gets sort of the shorter end of the stick, goes to planet Earth. But in the original story, as we know, he was sent there on a mission. In this story, it's explained that Bardock being Goku's father, and his wife Gine sort of smuggle him out of the Saiyans' like home, and they sort of send him off because Bardock fears that Frieza's going to attack them and destroy the planet that day, actually. So it kind of is his way of just like getting his son off the plane, because he thinks he's going to be the only one who's going to survive all this. So he does that. Then it flash forwards a bit to the future, and I apologize right now if I am skipping over a few points that happen. I'm just kind of going a bit, I'm going in order of the events in the story of the movie, but I'm also going to skip over a few things because I don't want to spoil the entire movie. I'm just going to be going over the certain key points that I thought were important and I liked. Of course, we get the whole dialogue in the present date of how Broly gets picked up by Frieza and his force. They go off on their little journey to Earth to get the Dragon Balls because Frieza has a wish, which I thought was hilarious, his wish. I'm not going to say what his wish was. You're going to have to watch the movie for that, but it was just, yes, 100% on point with that. And it's also kind of funny because when it boils down to the whole ending of the movie, you realize this was all done just so Frieza could get that wish granted. This wasn't even supposed to happen. Frieza didn't even want to attack Vegeta and Goku. It just happened to work that way. And he even says at one point, he's like, I guess I'm just rolling with this. I didn't even intend for this to happen, but whatever. So then the fighting breaks out between Broly, Vegeta, and Goku, of course. As the trailers even suggested, Vegeta fights Broly first, then Goku, then Frieza. Vegeta fights Broly in base form, Broly's in base form, then Vegeta kicks up to Super Saiyan, starts to beat Broly a little bit. Broly turns it up a bit, starts to learn the techniques of fighting, because apparently Broly never fought anyone before other than his own father, whose power level was nothing compared to his own, and the random aliens on the planet that he was deserted on. So he was sort of never really fought a Saiyan before, like an actually powerful Saiyan like Vegeta or Goku. So he's learning as he fights. He actually gets to the point where he's fighting on par with Super Saiyan. Then Vegeta decides, I'm going to go Super Saiyan God. So he goes Super Saiyan God. Beautiful animation, amazing techniques and fighting styles that were used amongst both Goku and Vegeta. But when Vegeta goes Super Saiyan God, essentially Broly has lost. Frieza and Paragus, being Broly's father, both kind of give up at that point. They're like, okay, it's over, show's over, I don't care anymore, it's done. But then Broly unlocks his first transformation, which a lot of people are currently a bit like iffy on this transformation's actual potential. And it was explained that Broly's first form, where he gets the golden eyes like shown in the trailer and his hair gets a little bit more spiky, it is explained that he taps into the power of the Great Ape form, being the form that Saiyans get whenever they stare at the full moon and they transform to a giant ape. The multiplier of this form is a 10 times multiplier, so quick math, if you had a power level of 10 and you turn to a Great Ape, your power level would be 100. So do the math, Broly's power level being whatever multiplied by 10, he is now able to fight on par with Super Saiyan God. Now, a lot of people are currently having an issue with this because they're thinking, well, okay, I get the multiplier, but how is he able to now beat Super Saiyan God, which is a God-level fighter, and it's just kind of all over the place. I can understand that, but at the same time, if we reference the Tournament of Power, there were a lot of fighters in the Tournament of Power, Saiyan and other aliens alike, that could combat Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue. So I wasn't surprised that the newest person fighting in this movie was going to be able to do that. I like how they gave an explanation for it. They didn't do much of that in Dragon Ball Super, ever explain how a person was stronger than the other. They did like tiny explanations, but this one was more fleshed out, and it explained, oh yeah, well, he doesn't have a tail, but he was able to retain the 10 times multiplier when he used this form. So that takes place. Then Goku steps in to fight. Vegeta's like, I mean, I can still fight, but okay, Kakarot, you can go in and fight him. So Goku goes in and starts fighting, powers up to base, just goes in, immediately starts getting beat. So he goes, okay, Super Saiyan time, Super Saiyan versus Broly's. I think I'm going to call it Fury form because that's how it's called in the Dragon Ball Legends game that I played. He's called Broly Fury, so I'm just going to call it his Fury form or Great Ape form, but it's not really a Great Ape. You guys get the picture. So Goku starts going Super Saiyan fighting against this Fury form. It doesn't do anything at all, so Goku stops and thinks, I'm just going to go Super Saiyan God then. Goku powers up Super Saiyan God, uses a few techniques we've never seen before, uses a weird red energy ball that Broly immediately kind of crushes in his hand, and it's like, well, that didn't work. So then Goku goes, okay, I'm going to try another technique. So he freezes Broly in place with this interesting maneuver he does with his hands. Now, a lot of people are referencing this to the character Hit in Dragon Ball Super, who also has the ability to time freeze people in place like that. It was shown in the Tournament of Power as well. So people are saying maybe he copied Hit's technique or kind of improved upon it. It would be kind of funny if Broly didn't immediately turn against him. That's right. Right as Broly gets caught in it, he breaks free of it and then does the exact technique back to Goku himself. And Goku's a little taken aback by this because he's like, wait, I just did this to you. How are you able to replicate it so easily? And it's kind of funny because it really was a callback to characters like Cell and Majin Buu back in Dragon Ball Z, where they would see a technique once, replicate it, duplicate it, and just do it right back 2 times better. I always liked how that was the thing. It's done a little bit too much in Dragon Ball, but at the same time, it's always cool when it does happen. So at that point, they get a little bit worried that they're not going to be able to beat Broly. But at the same time, they're confident that on a 2v1 situation, they would be fine. However, a sort of event happens where Frieza decides that Broly can't go Super Saiyan yet. He's alright with his current form, but he needs to go Super Saiyan or else he won't be able to beat them. They all realize this even. So Frieza makes the decision to actually kill Broly's father because Broly actually cares about his father a lot. Even though the other side of the spectrum is kind of iffy right now if Paragus even really cared about his son or not. But so Frieza decides to blast Paragus. Of course, out of sight though from Broly actually seeing how it happens. And then Frieza proclaims to Broly, "Oh no, he got shot by a spare." And by the way, this is a very hilarious moment in the movie. Just it's better to see it as it happens, but he's like, "Oh no, Broly, your father was shot by a spare beam that just came out of nowhere and hit him. Oh no, he's dead." And of course, Broly just kind of looks at him, and kind of the meme about it is Broly doesn't even like take a second to think about it. He was already angry and blindly attacking them, but then he kind of looks over, sees his dead father, he's like, okay, time to transform. So he goes up to Super Saiyan, his eyes turn white, and his power now overpowers the Super Saiyan Blue, Goku, and Vegeta. They have no choice but to resort to one of a few things that I was actually surprised that they would resort to, and that is Gogeta. So we knew from the trailers that Gogeta was going to be in the movie, but the way that they resorted to it was actually very interesting. They had to actually teleport away from Broly, because Broly was just attacking them furiously, but the way they teleported away was they kind of just flew past Frieza, and they said, Frieza, you deal with him for a minute, or 30, or an hour. That's right. Frieza had to actually fight Broly for an entire hour real time. An entire hour real time. As opposed to, like, I know normally in Dragon Ball they joke about, oh, it's going to be a 5-minute fight and it's like an hour long. No. According to how they explained it, Frieza had to fight Broly for an entire hour. And I mean lose to Broly, because Frieza, even in Golden form, was no match for this man in Super Saiyan. And yeah, but I'm not going to go over much of the Gogeta versus Broly part, because although the animation was stunning, amazing, and a little bit crazy at certain points in terms of following the fight, I don't want to spoil that part. I'm going to let you guys watch that yourselves. All I'm going to say is that alone was a bit too much. Not in a bad way, but it just was overwhelming. It's like the Goku Jiren fight, episode 130, where they're just fighting constantly the entire... That's basically what that part felt like. Like, you have to watch that about 10 times over to actually analyze how the fighting went with those two. It was so fast. There is one point I will say where Broly goes to charge up an attack at Gogeta at point blank range. He fires it. It shows it hitting Gogeta. And then Gogeta teleports behind Broly and fires a barrage of energy blasts and uses his signature Stardust Breaker move on Broly, all in the time frame that it took him to dodge the attacks. So it's stating that Gogeta is so fast that he was able to fire multiple attacks back at Broly in a split second. Not many people are talking about that right now, but I just thought that was a point needed to be made, that Gogeta is miles beyond, I would say about 10 times quicker than Broly at that point. Like, and Broly's already fast as it is, but Gogeta destroys Broly. In terms of power scaling, like, if Broly was like 10 tiers above Goku and Vegeta Super Saiyan Blue, Gogeta's like 50 tiers above that Broly. It's insane. Now, in terms of a few Easter eggs, quote-unquote, that were shown in this movie, there are 2 points in the movie that are going to have a lot of people questioning what this actually means. I'll actually go over this one first, even though this seems like the most important one, is whenever Goku goes from Super Saiyan God to Super Saiyan Blue, there is a moment where his hair flows up like Super Saiyan, doesn't turn blue, but it turns white. It flares up to white for a second. As we know, when Goku has white hair, that refers to him in Ultra Instinct form. Now, the strange part about it is, when he does it, his eyes are like remaining black, but his hair turns white, and then it flares to blue, and his eyes turn blue. Now, obviously, this probably is a reference to Ultra Instinct, I would say. I don't know if they intended it to be a full, like, oh, he's using Ultra Instinct. But what I also caught was interesting is while he's doing it, it's taking him longer to turn blue. In all of Dragon Ball Super, you've never seen Goku take his time turning blue once he got the hang of the form. He kind of just switched it on and off like he would do Super Saiyan. But in this, he actually took a while. It took him like a minute to transform into blue, as if he actually was having a difficult time accessing the form. Now, I'm like, in sort of my own headcanon, I thought, well, maybe after the Tournament of Power, when he unlocked Ultra Instinct, it kind of walked his Super Saiyan Blue form away, so it actually takes him a lot more effort to get to it now. It's kind of a weird explanation, but that's the only thing I could think of, is they didn't explain why it took him so long to transform into, because Vegeta instantly went blue when he had to. It didn't take him time. Now, that being said, let's get on to Vegeta's transformation, because Goku wasn't the only one that had a different hair palette color change in the middle of a transformation. When Vegeta went from Super Saiyan to Super Saiyan God, in terms of his yellow hair turning red, there is a moment where his hair doesn't turn red, it doesn't turn blue, it doesn't turn white, but it turns green. That is right, and it's not the same color green that Broly's hair turns, it is like a bluish green color. It's very interesting because it's for a second, because it's kind of cool how they showed it, because they showed his hair, or they showed his eyes turn before his hair turned. So his eyes turned red, he still had the gold hair. But then the hair shifted to green for a split second, and then went to red in Super Saiyan God. Now, I thought that was very interesting. There even was a moment where the audience, like, I was in the theater, of course, where, like, everyone in the theater, like, paused for a second and was like, wait, was that supposed to happen? As in, like, did they mean to show that color? And, I think they did. I think that actually is very interesting that they hinted at that, because, I mean, this could be taken out of context, but at the beginning of the movie, whenever baby Vegeta is in, like, the pod, and his father, King Vegeta's, like, talking about him, he kind of says, well, there could be a chance that this guy could, turn into the legendary Super Saiyan. And they were referencing Broly 2 at that point, I believe. But I just think it's funny that Vegeta's hair turned green before Broly's did in the movie. In terms of order of scenes, Vegeta's hair was shown turning green before Broly's did. And I know it was for a split second, but they would not, in a movie of this caliber, show a different hair color change if it didn't mean anything. Of course, like we're all saying, Goku's hair turning white for a split second could instigate Ultra Instinct. But Vegeta's hair turning green for a split second, what the heck does that mean? Is he going to access the legendary Super Saiyan form that we all know and love? Is he going to get a new form? Is he going to actually be the true legendary Super Saiyan? Who knows? Because if you guys didn't know, legendary Super Saiyan is a name that doesn't exist anymore. The only thing referring to the legendary Super Saiyan in canon would be just the yellow hair Super Saiyan. Like, that would be the hair color that you would associate that with. Because Broly's form with the green hair is now called, like, full power Super Saiyan or something on that. So that's kind of just a mastered Super Saiyan, even though we have a mastered Super Saiyan already. I don't know. Also in Dragon Ball Super, Kale, another Saiyan who could get the legendary form, she was referred to as Berserk. That was the name of her form. Berserk Super Saiyan, or Super Saiyan Berserk. So it's kind of interesting how they're labeling all these names now. Full Power, Berserk. There's also a Rage form that Trunks gets in Dragon Ball Super. Like, it's funny how they're, like, using simple terms, but then, like, now we have this new colored hair that Vegeta gets, and Goku, like I said, gets the white hair for a second, but his hair, it's not, like, his hair's spiky white, and we have never seen that before either. So I don't exactly know what that means, but I'm sure when they bring back the series of Dragon Ball Super, whatever they're going to call it, they will show off these forms, possibly, maybe, who knows? It might have just been a one-time thing that they just wanted to show, just to kind of poke fun at the hair colors. Who knows? All in all, the ending of the movie was left very open-ended. I won't go over the full ending, but there were certain pieces of it that I did really enjoy. I thought the last thing that Goku says in the movie was perfect. It wrapped up everything that Dragon Ball has been up until that point. It kind of told the entire story in one sentence. And for anyone who's watched all of Dragon Ball Z to Dragon Ball Super, you'll know what I mean by that, by watching his, or hearing his last statement that he says to Broly. But it's very, I don't know what the word would be. It's very cool how they wrote that. Obviously like I said, they left it open-ended. Anything can happen at the end of this, but we'll just have to see. But guys, that's actually going to wrap my review. I apologize. How long have I been talking? Oh, only 21 minutes. I felt like I was talking for like an hour. Yeah, that's going to wrap up this little review of the movie. I rate the movie 10 out of 10, 5 stars, whatever you'd like to call it. There were a few points in the movie that were a bit iffy, but other than that, there wasn't really much to over-criticize with it. Like, I thought they did a really good job. I in terms of rating as the best Dragon Ball movie of all time, I would say that, or at least second place. I'd probably have to watch it again to get a full feel of it, but right now, I really enjoyed it. Like, I really enjoyed it. I'd recommend going to see it. If you can't go to see it, if you're in a region in the world that actually isn't even getting the movie, I'd say wait till it comes out on DVD to see it. Yeah, I want to go see it in the theaters again, but I don't think I'm going to have time to, so I'm just going to have to wait till it comes out on DVD myself. But I just have to say, I'm excited to see where they go in the future. I'm really excited to see how this story progresses. And just, yeah, but enough of my rambling. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you all did enjoy. Comment down below what your favorite part of the movie was if you did see it. If not, I hope you all do get the chance to see it. I hope you all also have a great day in general. I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.